4. Yes. Yes, welcome everybody. I want to be sure there's no lag on your end. If there's anything on your end that is a form of lag, please just let us know in the comment section. Be very quick to let us know in the comment section. We apologize for the glitches today, and welcome once again to everybody who is here. We are glad to have you. Yes, so today we are going to be exploring designs. Literally, I'm going to be covering a lot. A lot of the things we mentioned earlier we are going to be doing, we are going to be starting with it today. So I want to encourage you to sit back, listen, take notes, and if you are just starting out in design like beginner, we would be encouraging you to take notes as much as possible. So welcome. Welcome once again. We'll be beginning. We'll start very shortly, very shortly. Have you gotten it? Okay. Have you posted it? You haven't posted it. Still post it. Yeah, so I'm about to share my screens now. My screen is a blue light screen, meaning that it will reflect everything before me. Okay. Yes, I'm about to share. Okay, my display setting is in duplicate. Can you see it over there? Oh, okay. Okay, yes. I want to say a very big welcome to everybody. We are starting now. Yes. When you sign up for design, we realize there are quite a number of persons genuinely want to learn these things from scratch up. And we are going to be your companion all the way. Fun fact, everything Mudia said yesterday, I just want to quickly reiterate it. While you are going to be having questions, please just drop them. People are going to interact with you on the chat section. So any question, anything you have, please just drop them. And someone will be there to answer all your questions or interact with you. Mudia made profound statement yesterday that I'd like to reiterate. And one of them, which is design generally is a journey, not a destination. So we are not assuring that once you start this design, you are just going to become a pro overnight. That's a big fat lie. We are not saying that. We are just assuring you that when we start, the only thing we are going to guarantee is that you are going to be experiencing progress over perfection. So we want to say that I could be fast a bit. Let me know in the comment section. I'm too slow. Let me know in the comment section. You are not hearing me clearly. I'm talking too fast. Let me know in the comment section. So I want to say a very big welcome to everybody. There are a lot of pros in our midst. For a lot of you who are not on the Discord channel, the Discord channel is especially the free chat zone. If you are not on the Discord channel, we encourage you that after Discord, try and get the link to the Discord channel. We are going to be dishing out emails very shortly. we don't want that to delay our work. That's why we're head straight into this. However, I want to quickly say that I'll be doing a lot of things today that in the coming days we are going to break down into chunks. So I want you to just follow me, but while you're following me, try not to fully grasp everything. I may be too fast, like I said earlier, because of the time constraint, because we are working with time. We don't want to stay beyond 2 hours for each of the classes. And so I want to encourage everybody with a very warm welcome. Right about now, we are going to be going through designs. I've done a lot of talking. So thank you once again. Let's start. Yes. Please, you can help me share my screen. Thank you so much. Yes. I want to explain to you that, of course, the people who are going to be, I'm starting with Illustrator. I'm starting from scratch. I want to explain to you that the people who are going to be taking this course from scratch are going to be explaining the interface to you, of course. So if you are really just starting out and you don't understand everything I'm doing, I want you to please slow down and bear with me. When I mean slow down and bear with me, just slow down and try and follow. There's a lot of things I'm going to be doing that I literally expect you to just understand that I'm trying to corroborate a point or establish a point, not necessarily teach. The teaching has not started. This is more or less like a general overview of everything we're going to be doing. So let's start. So I'm making a 1080 by 1080 screen. So the orientation doesn't matter because the width and the height are the same in pixels, not any other size. And then it's in RGB. The color mode here is in RGB. I say create. And now I have my hardboard. Let me just put this there. Now I have my hardboard, and yes, mouse over trackpad. Mouse over trackpad. Someone there should help me type mouse over trackpad. If you use a trackpad, I'm sorry, you're really not a good designer. Oh, no, of course, that's a joke. But yes, I mean it, but that's a joke. So let's move on. Mouse over trackpad. Yeah. Now, I want to explain something to you about design. Hardly does any design exist in isolation. Hardly does any design exist in isolation. Any design you see is built on existing knowledge. Now, this is very important as your starting point. Nothing exists in isolation. Literally not, and I hope someone is taking note. Nothing exists in isolation. Everything is built on itself. Everything is layered on itself. That is literally how you should see design. Now, I want to show you this before I establish the other point. The first point I'm saying is that nothing exists in isolation. Now, I want to establish that point. Nothing exists in isolation. I have my square. I copy it back on itself. Make it a circle. And then confirm that it's a circle I want to deal with. Now, copy the circle back on itself. And then reduce the size. I take it all together. I come here. I just come here and take out the parts I don't need. What you call Boolean operation on Figma. So, what I've just designed now is a what? I just designed, if this is an icon, you will call this a location what? A location icon. This first establishes that. Now, how many shapes did we use to design this location icon? How many shapes did we use? We used just how many? How many kind of shapes did we use? Campton. So I would like you to interact with me on the oh, okay. Is there an issue? 2, yes, beautiful. 2. If you said 2, yes, you are correct. We just used 2 shapes and we have done a what? What did we design? Oh, sorry. Let me just do this. We used a rectangle and what? And square. Oh, sorry, we use a rectangle and circle. Sorry. That's what we use here. And I'm just documenting it so you would see what is going on. And you will hang on with me. Rectangle and circle for this one. That's what we did to get this done. Now, shall we move on? Yes. I want you to see that nothing, I repeat, exists in isolation. I could say that over and over and over again. That nothing exists in isolation. And I just want you to see that, yes, that if I do this again, I say, I copy it on itself. I make it a circle again. and I take this circle and just stick with me, please. I bring it here, I duplicate it back, and then I bring it here. I just merge everything together now. Well, this most likely will be for someone's daughter. Anyway, yeah, so you could still go further if you like and reduce the edges if you don't want it looking sharp and all. So nothing exists in isolation. You don't design in isolation. I could just make it sharp back so I can keep everything intact. You don't design in isolation. Nothing exists in what? In isolation. How many shapes do we use here? We use how many? Shapes. 3. Rectangle and circle still. How many shapes did we use at first? We use how many? 2. Nothing in itself stands alone. Nothing in itself stands by itself. And I hope I will keep saying this thing till it becomes part of your subconscious, that there's literally nothing like are you seeing what I just did now? I took the 2 edges and then I bring it together. I reduce this. Let me reduce this size. I can just, yes, let me tell you that, oh sorry. Let me confirm that this is a shape now. I want to convert it into a shape so I can scale it easily without hassle. Yes, now that I've done that, I want to reflect it, but copy the reflection, give me this, then duplicate it down, take it up. Or if you want to be careful, this is what you can do. And then Command D or Control D, depending on where you're working from. Take this, Command C, paste it out, straighten it, then drop it here. All I'm trying to show you is that design is very simple once you understand. Well, let me take that back. Not entirely simple, but once you understand the fundamentals, you are putting yourself on a very good path to start. Now, this is not everything we are going to be doing, but this is a very good start for. Let me just bring this to the front. This is a very good start for everything, the foundation we are going to be laying. That nothing, I repeat, and I'll keep saying it, nothing exists in what? In isolation. I don't know how many times I have to say it before anybody would always have to remember this. Nothing exists in isolation. Everything is built on itself. Everything is built on itself. Literally everything. Nothing stays alone by itself. We are all connected. Well, that's another way to say it. We are all connected. So how many shapes did we use here? We used that many shapes. Rectangles and a line, actually is the only thing you are looking at. We only use 2 here too, rectangle and line. Here too, we actually just use 2, a square and a circle, a square and a circle, a rectangle and a line here. Now you can see here that because you are part of the process, because you are part of the process, you can see how these things are done. Now let me move on. Let me do 2 more so you can get to see it in other forms. Okay, thanks. Because you are part of the process, you get to see how these things are done. So the most important thing that your eyes have to learn to do in this class, and which I'm strongly encouraging, is learn to see things in reverse. An ordinary person, what marks a designer from every other person is, when I mean ordinary, I don't mean ordinary derogatory, I'm in a derogatory manner. I mean ordinary as per every other person who is a non-designer. What separates a designer from every other person is a designer has an ability to see possibilities of how to do it while people are seeing the finished form. You are looking at how everything came together. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That is one thing that marks you different from every other person. So while everybody is seeing a love shape, a location icon shape, and possibly a plant shape, what you are seeing is how these things could have been designed, how these things were designed, how these things could have been done, how these things were done. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That's one of the things you must start with. This is your foundation. Your foundation is your ability to see things component-wise, not in their comprehensive state. Yes, you are meant to pay for hearing that anyway. Component-wise. That is why when we started this class, we showed you a Lego. The Lego explains how things fit together to form a whole. I'm going to be going on from here very shortly, but I just want to stress this part. The Lego explains how things are put together to form a whole. You are literally just playing around with shapes. I'm going to go advanced very shortly, but you are literally just playing around with shapes. And so let me move on. I want to be sure we are together. Okay. I want to be sure that we are together. So please just hang on with me. I will do this all over again. And then I want to show you this. The same way I've been doing all over from the scratch, we'll just come again and say, okay, so let's make this a shape. So making it a shape is going to allow Illustrator to know that we are dealing with a shape. Now, don't bother about the whole process. That is, if you are entirely new to this. If you are not, don't bother. So anyway, when you get into your classes properly, you would do this from scratch. They would explain everything to you properly. This is just more or less a very quick introductory class that is going to try and bother on everything as much as possible. So my question is simple. Is this looking familiar? How many shapes did you use? Rectangle and what? And circle. Just two. Well, of course, the number of the shapes could increase. When I mean kind of shapes, when I mean how many shapes, I actually meant kind of shapes. Sorry for the words I'm using. Now, we have been doing a very simplified version thus far. We have been saying just this, that, and that. So let me start to move on a bit. Let me start to move on from here a bit. Of course, I'm not teaching you logo design. Neither am I teaching you illustration. But just hang on with me. I just want to show you how everything is connected. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, everything can be reduced to the barest minimum, and then you see things as they are meant to be seen. So just hang on with me. This time, let's start to move on a bit. Let me just do this. Let me not do that. Let me just stick to a very simple shape. There's a simpler shape to use, but I won't use that. I want to, as much as possible, explain everything from a very simple standpoint. Can anybody guess what I'm doing even before I complete it? If you're able to guess, it must have been that you have been in my class before. It's now a shape. Okay, before we even do that, let me just take increase the stroke to possibly 4. No, I don't even need to use that. I can still use a rectangle. So just hang on, I'm almost done. Group it together, align it. Yes, we'll be talking about a lot of things today, especially as per Command C, Command F, or Control C, Control F, Command C, Command F again, Command C, Command F. So we'll take all of this and then group it. First, let's put this here. You have this. Second, let's put this here. You have this. And then bring this together. Bring this here. Take this to the back. Sorry, I'm using a lot of shortcuts. I'm trying to actually unlearn the shortcuts for the sake of this class. So I don't get to always have to explain what I did somewhere. Yes, so do this and then make this lighter, since we are just maintaining monochrome. And then you have this, bring it here. And then let's move on quickly. Now let's go a bit faster. Someone should be able to tell what I'm doing. Someone should be able to tell what I'm doing even before I complete it. That's to show that yes, I'm in the right environment with designers. Now I'm moving fast, fairly fast, but not too fast. Of course, this is still child's play for some people here. Command C, Command F, bring it here. Make this taller. Then bring this here. Adjust this accordingly. Ensure that these two hands touch. Let me be sure of something, that my view is not okay. So take this out. Okay, someone should be able to tell what I'm doing anyway. That's a smart response from Okoloa and Valentine. Whether app icons or I'm actually not designing icons. Well, yes, if you call them icons, you are right. I'm literally just trying to prove a point that design is building things on top of themselves. That's literally the beginning and the end. That's literally the definition of design. You are literally building things, you are placing things on top of themselves. So nothing exists in isolation. Nothing stands alone by itself. It was literally done or designed or carved out from somewhere. Or I don't know how to explain. I hope you get my general idea now. Nothing exists by itself. It comes from somewhere. There's an origin. Do you get what I'm trying to say? There's always an origin. There's always a starting point. There's always a starting point. For every kind of thing you see, there's always a starting point. So I'd like you to have this mindset, especially when you're designing, that you are putting things together to form an idea. You are putting things together to explain a concept. And that sometimes requires that you master these things from scratch up, from ground up, or whichever way you'd understand it. Sometimes it's usually here, or sometimes here, and then you see this. This should be, let's say, 5, 6. Should look like 6. Align it, spread it properly, then bring it down again. One of the things you see here is that nothing in itself is ever hard per se. Everything you see stems from somewhere. Like, that's my overarching goal this evening. If you don't remember anything, remember that in this class you had me screaming and just beating this one point, that nothing exists in isolation. Everything sits on something. Everything sits on something. Everything is coming from somewhere. Now, this is just a very quick approach. Everything sits on something. Everything is coming from somewhere. Nothing is just by itself. So let's start moving on again. Let's start to go up. I'm making the design as intentionally simple as possible. I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, these things they are doing is not for me. You literally can do this in any interface. This doesn't have to be done alone in Figma. This doesn't have to be done what's it called? In Adobe Illustrator. You can do all of these things in Figma. To let you know that you are dealing with the foundations of design. The foundations of design. That's what we are dealing with. The foundations of design. And yes, you can do something like this, of course, and drop it here. Reduce the size, drop it here. And yes, you can go the other way around of coming here. My goal is to ensure that people starting out feel very relaxed. There's nothing here you cannot do. My goal is to ensure you are very very comfortable. Of course, I'm not saying you should have a false sense of your abilities yet. Don't do that, please. People would humble you. Yes, I'm just saying that feel very relaxed. There's nothing, I keep repeating it, there's nothing, and yes, you can have this rounded, all rounded if you so wish. There's nothing demanding as such that you are experiencing. Everything you are seeing here, you can do. Everything you are seeing here, anybody that can hold a mouse, that's why you must be able to use a mouse as a designer. Anybody that can hold a mouse can design. Yes, 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 yes. I'm saying that with a caveat. Yes, with a caveat, please. Nobody should quote me. If you can hold the mouse well, or all of these things are quite straightforward, quite easy and straightforward for you, especially if you design with mouse. I mean that if you make up your mind that you're going to be a designer who wants to use a mouse, I promise you your design journey will be easier. I'm serious. Design becomes tougher when you use trackpad. Nobody should quote me. If you quote me, I will deny. Design becomes easier when you use trackpad, when you use a mouse, not trackpad. Sorry. So yes, all of these things I've been showing you to let you see how simple things fit together, how simple things, simple shaped, are formed, and if we want to go complex, how yes, it becomes easy to go complex if we want to go complex. So yes, let's move on. I've shown you how these things fit, how these things are by themselves. Now let's start to see things in a different perspective. Perspective matters a lot in design, and it is important that I establish that point as much as possible. That perspective matters a lot in design. So my other agenda this evening is, what if we're able to see things from another perspective? What if, that's my question, what if I'm able to show you from another perspective what things can look like? This is 30 degrees. Let me be sure it's okay, aligned. Yes, it's straight. What if I can show you, I'm pressing the line icon, what things can look like from another perspective? Command C, Command F, align it till it touch. Command C, Command F again, align it till it touch. Yes, so yeah, you have this. Just careful to group it together. Be sure that they sit on themselves. That's the goal. So this kind of things should be avoided, and one of the ways to avoid them, let me go back. That's why we have our control Y. Our control Y shows where we have gotten things wrong. Let me ungroup it and correct it very quickly. Yes, this is better aligned. Yes, this is perfectly aligned, and this also should be perfectly aligned. So never joke with precision, please. I don't think you hear it a lot. If I ever take a class and you're in, you hear me say it a lot. Please never ever joke with precision. At some point, what would differentiate you from just every other designer would be your precise design. How precise, how accurate are your alignment? How precise are your design? At some point, that will be your key differentiator from every other person. So please never joke with precision as a designer. It is very, very important. So yes, that's still wrong. Let's correct that before we duplicate it. And then so we'll move on very shortly. I don't mean to take too much time. In fact, we have not even started today's work, and I've used almost 30 minutes. Almost. Yeah, so now that I've done that, yes, you can group them back. And I don't mind the protruding lines. If you see that the lines are protruding, yes, I can see them. I don't mind. I honestly don't mind. Let me just drag this and share. My friend, just yes. Ensure they stay together. They are friends. They must stay together. They are friends. So yeah, we have done that. So my goal, like I said earlier, is to show you what another perspective looks like, and I really want to ensure I'm doing that. So I'll just duplicate down, take it all together, bring it back up, then take this part, and 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 this part. Let's bring them out. they align. Okay, fine. Let's be sure we are on the same way. We're on track. Okay, we're good. So let's do that again. Let's take all of this now. Yes. So what we have done, well, in a very what we have done in a very easy to understand format is let me just come and continue file, because you may want to use it later, so let me be very considerate. What we have done in a very simple format is isometric grid. So yes, let me just quickly do this. Let me reduce the opacity to, instead of making it a grid yet, I might just let it be, and then possibly change the color to blue. Increase the opacity to possibly okay, this is good. Let's do 100 is good. Tika, yes, this is good. Then let's just lock it. Command 2. I just logged it on the layer. So this is an interface to build on. Anything you want to design, you can design on this place. So this is where I move to the pen tool, and I'd like to do some very quick design here. Very simple design here, and very simple. I'm saying very simple intentionally. Okay, so let's that hand is too wide. Let me just go back, make it short. One, two, on track, 3. And one more. Let me just add colors to this thing so you get to see what we are designing. I can see clearly here, but I'm sure that over there people might not be able to see clearly. Yes, this is not, when you are learning this properly, probably under one of the tutors, you learn to use smart grids and smart points. So just permit me to do this, which is my natural habitat. Just let me be for a while for today, and possibly tomorrow you would come back to when there's for each of the class, when there's a word, you would experience things differently. Yes, so keep looking at this, and I'm guessing it already looks like something you know, or something you can identify with, or something you're familiar with, I guess. So I'll just quickly do this, take this out, so I cannot deal with it independently. And this did not go because it is logged. Can somebody tell us what this looks like? Yes, someone is correct. So everything I'm doing today is more or less touching the surface. Well, it's not even the surface. It's primarily for those who to be fair, are just starting out design. My attention is not on the pros. It's actually for those who are literally just starting out designs and need to understand these things from ground up. They are the ones that all of this explanation and design is meant for. We want them to see that design is not hard, and I don't know how to explain this more than I'm doing. I really am being very basic here, very basic. Design is not hard, not even in the list. what you have seen me, okay, let me just take this out. I might not need it again. Okay, if we want to go complex a bit, we can go complex if we want, and then say from here, oh, we have spent 40 minutes, that's a lot, to here, to here, to here, to here, and then here. Just cover everything up, and let me just take this up a bit. Okay, this is good, and I'll just come here and make it a gradient fill. Let's do 120. No, reverse it. Yes. So from here we can just see a bit of this color, and just come this way. A bit of that. That should be good. So let me do this just a bit. You can actually control it from both ends depending on what you're trying to achieve. Maybe I should just change the color, I guess. Let me use a bit of yellow. Should we use that? Orange. Okay, this is good. Take this down, yes, and then this is still too, it's trying to show an idea, so this should be like this. Yes, this is good. Then come here, and then this should be possibly 10. 10 is too low. 60, this is good. And then we are saying that maybe our idea, what we are trying to communicate is no man is born. Okay, so sorry, let me just increase that size to, so let me take that out, sorry. Let me do this quickly, all caps. 72 is fine. I just think I need something lighter. Yes. Monument. This is good. So yeah, you have definitely seen how design is built on it. I'm not designing yet anyway. This is still a very good, this is just purely an introductory approach. Everything I've done so far literally is just geared at showing you something that design by itself is not hard, and design built on other things. Design is not existing in isolation. No design literally exists in isolation. All design is connected from somewhere, somehow. So yes, this is still in black and white. No color has been added except for our isometric illustration. And of course, let me just take this down. This is not our emphasis. I could just put this here, so I don't make it into a poster design. You see how things fit easily, how things connect easily. Nothing here is entirely new. There are things that are done from existing shapes into new shapes that you learn to identify with, that you learn to connect with. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yes, you do. So my encouragement this evening is to let you know that there is nothing here we are going to be doing in this class that is everly going to take you off balance, or that is going to be taking you off balance. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Everything is going to be from ground. I mean from ground, from scratch up. If you are doing illustrations from scratch up, if you are doing poster designs, it's from scratch up. If you are doing Figma, I'm going to enter Figma now anyway. It's all from scratch up, but before I enter Figma, I want to enter Photoshop. Everything we are going to be doing in this class, I promise you, is from scratch up. So I want to encourage you to not feel intimidated. We are going to go from simple to advanced. I'm trying to think up a very simple design that I can quickly show you to establish this point. That things are literally not that demanding as you think mentally. Only that you have to have the right foundation. When you have the right foundation, it's easy to build anything on it. Literally easy to build anything on it. But when the foundation is not right, there's nothing you want to build on a design. It will always be quirky. It will show that, oh, this person doesn't understand basic things like alignment, like composition, like layout, and every other thing like that. So I want to encourage you that for the subsequent class that will be coming on after this, please, I'm saying please, and I actually mean the please, please give it all your attention, give it all your time, give it all of you. I'm saying try not to miss classes. Of course, it's flexible, but please try not to miss classes. Try not to skip classes. If once the dashboard has been rolled out, once it's time for your class and you get an alert, please try and join, because it will not be easy to come back to these things. People are going to be taking from ground up. I keep insisting from ground up. So please, I want to encourage you to stick through. Thank you very much. So let's move on to a bit to illustration. So I didn't say illustration, rather I didn't mean illustration. Well, let's move on to Photoshop. And I'm about to set up some things now that we're going to be working with. I'm trying to get the folder where things have been attended to. Just give me a minute, please. I'm trying to, just give me a minute, please, and I will be with you shortly. So while I'm setting this up, I just want you to know that nothing exists in isolation, as I've been saying, and I'll keep saying it. To now go on to say that everything is connected. Kind, yes, show me by the kind. Everything literally is connected. So yes, let's move. I am now in Photoshop. Yes, so yeah, these images have been edited already. So let me just unlock and convert this to an artboard. So don't worry, if you don't understand everything I'm doing, don't worry. Let me call this 001. You don't have to understand the tools, just see the point I'm trying to make. That's all. Literally, I'm trying to see if I have to touch all the designs for today and show you that nothing here is really demanding. Now, I'm sorry, the images have already been adjusted, so you are looking at an already adjusted image, which may not be the case for you. Let me just quickly say that. In your own case, you may be having more to do, like taking out the image. Yes, definitely. You take out the image from the background. Now, understand that everybody's process also is different. The way people do their designs, for everything that you are going to be seeing me do here, the way somebody else will do it, most likely is going to be entirely different. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yes, you do. It's going to be entirely different, which means that you must learn the core fundamentals, not necessarily the process. The process most likely or very likely may be different for you. The process could be very, very different from your own approach. So I really want to encourage you that as much as we want you to learn, that color combination is not going off. It's not going fine. Let me just try this. As much as we want you to learn, we don't want you to lose yourself in the entire process. We want you to know what works for you and then try and stick to it. I think this is fine. Know what works for you, it's just a very simple gradient at the background. Know what works for you and then try and stick to it. Literally try and stick to what works for you. And that should be it. That literally should be it. So let me come here. We have from blue to purple. That's what we are looking at here. Take that back, adjust it. And yes, again, the way you are going to be learning this from other persons who are going to be teaching you most likely will be very different. I'm saying this, that these tools, you are not tied to them. You are not held down by them. So the way someone else will use the tool will be completely different from the way I'm using it. It is good that you understand that from the outset, which is fine. That's why I keep saying that you are literally going to be learning from different person who are going to be taking you to different learning processes. I really want you to brace up for that. Brace up as much as possible, so you don't get overwhelmed. But yes, it's going to be a very fun ride. Very okay. We might not need that additional layer. Let me just take it out. Okay, so this is good. I might not necessarily want to go complex now. So let me say, let me come back. I'm just coming to this now. Let me say, or like a new layer. You see, virtual with power. Oh, that's powering. So let me come and adjust it here. Clash. I think I want to use clash. Clash. Grotesque. Okay, this is good. And now, fun fact: everything I'm doing here, you can do it in Illustrator. Of course, there are limits. There will be limits. I'm intentionally moving away from Illustrator down to Photoshop because of what I want to do. Now, and I'm doing it in a very simplified format. Very simplified format. It could be more, I repeat, it could be more complex than what I'm trying to design, but I want it very simple, like very, very simple. Powering connection. If I like, I could, maybe, okay, let's say this is an event poster we're trying to design. So let's say this April, our focus as a community is going to be powering connection. So this April, we are going to be focusing on powering connection. So let me say Campton. Good designers use Campton too, I'm sorry. I just had to say it. I'm sorry. Good designers use Campton. If you're a good designer, what's going on, please? Oh, sorry. If you're a good designer, Campton should be in your arsenal. Like if you're a good designer, why is that happening? Campton should be in your arsenal. And if you are not, if you don't know what Campton is as what's going on, sorry. Oh, sorry, I should have adjusted that now. If you don't know what Campton is as a designer, then I'm sorry, you have not gotten to that level yet. So good designers use Campton. Good designers use mouse. Good designers use Campton. Good designers use mouse. Thank you. Good designers use Campton. Good designers use mouse. It is not a bias, by the way. It is just reality. I'm just being honest with you. It is not a bias. It is reality. Campton is one of the finest geometric font out there. You just love it. Modern, clean looking sans serif. You just love it. You can't love bad things. It's not right. It's not good for you to love things that are good. For you not to love things that are good. Sorry. This April, that spacing is too much. Let me reduce it. Let's say 500. This is still too small. Let me increase the width. A lot of things is going on in my head now, but don't worry. This is focus. Let me say focus for April, for this month. Focus for this month. Our focus for this month as a community, we are going to be powering connection. Let me now say 700. Yes, you'll be having this to do a lot. Because you are a designer, this still feels too big. Okay, feels better now. Let me see what we will do here. So yes, we could literally move on from here and say powering connection. The connection can be bigger if you like hyphenations. We are friends because I like it too. This is too big. Let me just reduce it. Let's say 100. I'll be done very shortly, I promise, and then we'll all let's say 120 now. Yes, reduce this a bit. Take this down. You can from here do a lot of things which I want to establish. One of them is this: you could now this is where composition and layout is very key. That depends on who. That depends on which. How many of you are taking fundamentals of design? Composition and layout becomes very germane here because this design can take any direction from here, but I won't go too far. I won't go too far, so I will not be taking too much time. This can go since, or this can. Let me just do this. That's why for you to be a brand designer, you must have all of these things in your arsenal. Okay, that's for brand designers anyway. This class doesn't cover brand design, but if you really know how to extrapolate well, you realize that at the end of the day, everything we're doing here is what brand designers do. Everything we're doing here is what brand designers would do. Let me do that. Let me just quickly align that. Then yes, let me group it together. Center it. Powering connection. Focus this month. Focus for this month. We're powering connection. Yes, and then you could also do this. Your design from henceforth can take any direction. I keep using that word, any direction. So let's try mixing things up a bit. Let me go for scripts. Give me a minute. I'm looking for a script that sits well on it. If I don't, let me see. Can we use this? Let me see it. No, I'm sorry. That is too. We'll be sacrificing readability and clarity here. Which at some point you can. Okay, let me see. There are pros and cons to these things, which is very important for us to know and be acquainted with. I think I'll use pressure sword. Your design can take any direction from here on. Some of you are just checking the font. I know some of you are not listening. The only thing you came here to do is just check the font. I'm a designer like you. I do it too, and it's perfectly fine. It's a welcome. It's welcome. It's welcome. I know some people here are just coming to take the font quickly. Yeah, it's fine. If you check closely, I've not tampered. The only color that we have here is the color from the background. We have not tampered with any other color. We have not changed any other color, and the image gave us a direction to work with, if you remember vividly. So if you are taking note of everything going on, so this cannot be like this. This would like to just quickly break this down. Let's do this. Align it to. Okay, I think we can still do that here. Okay, this is good. This is well. This sits on themselves well. Another thing we can even do is we could. What is this font? Precious Soul. Just come here and say Precious. Okay, so let's move on from here. Our powering now is counting, not script, all cases counting. Let's use bold, and then when we are making it bold, I just prefer doing this, minus reduce it, or let's use a tall font. Let me see, did I even keep it as part of my preferred font? No, I didn't keep it there. I'm trying to see how I can use a very tall font there. Let me just quickly correct this part. And then this should be possibly 100. Toby, can Toby really help me with one of the tall fonts he has? Go bold. I think go bold can work. Not go bold. Yeah, let's see. No, go bold is working on the wrong thing. Let's see, go bold. Sorry, I keep selecting the wrong thing. Power. Go bold. Okay, so which would I love to use? I think this is good. I still want it thick, but not too thick anyway. But let me see. This is good. This is preferred. Okay, no. Go bold. Sorry, I shouldn't be taking this more time. I'm just trying to get the perfect balance for the font I want to use. So yeah, let me just reduce this to 72. Connection and powering. Yes. So here, a bit of yellow or orange will do us a lot of service. Yeah, so this is literally more or less brand design approach. This is not poster design. I've not applied any effect. I've not done okay, someone is saying I should I should go my usual route. My usual route of movement will be this. I would break it. Then, since someone asked me to do this, I might as well just do what I do regularly. Make it big. And then, bring the lady. Bring her here. Reduce it, align it to the right. Yes, we're good. You will have to bear with me, but I'm still not a big fan of this font I'm using. So let me just quickly correct it. Not a fan at all. So I might just stick to a sans serif for now, or let me see. Let me just think to my let me just do this. Let me just stick to Compton. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like how that font comes out. Possibly I should have done my due diligence and look for a better font. So this is good in my own humble opinion. In my own it's meant to be Compton all the way. I'm sorry, please. You see that is Compton or is nothing. I'm sorry. We don't do that here. We don't prostitute with font here. Is that is Compton or nothing? Sorry, we don't do that here. So this is good. So yeah, yes, we have done this, and you see how the two directions we could have gone. Let me just put it on full screen so you can see what we have done. This is still very minimalistic. When you say minimalistic design, This is minimalistic. This is just basic. This is so basic. I mean so basic. If you check, we have not done any effects. We are just looking at a background, text, and image. No effect, nothing yet. I'm just touching the surface. I'm just literally touching the surface. So at this point, I might just leave Photoshop a little, and then because someone just mentioned we have spent 1 hour already. So yes, everything we did today is more or less a very, very quick introduction. A very, very quick introduction. From moving from illustration to Photoshop, and now let me just close this. Okay, let me just save this. Should I save this? Yes, I should save this because this will be appearing in your task. This will appear in your task. And then you will have to, let me just save this too. Please bear with me. This is very basic. I intentionally did not go further than this because of the newbies in our midst. Just to let you see that design is more or less understanding typography, understanding color, and understanding the right images to use and all. So let me just export this out. And quick export as PNG. Yeah, desktop. Yeah, let me just save it here. And we are good. Yes, that's okay, so we'll say work, save, and we are good. Let me close this down because I know my Photoshop eats a lot of time, eats a lot of memory. So let's move on to our beloved Figma. So here, now I don't want anybody to feel scared yet. You should be scared, but don't feel scared yet, because each of the persons who are going to be taking you deep. Like when I mean deep, I mean deep. They are going to be taking you really, really deep into these courses, and everything I've done will literally look like child's play. Someone asked a question. Oh, okay. Yes. Let me come back again and clarify that everything we have done today, everything I've done so far is literally going to look like child's play when we fully start the class, because I'm quite serious. Some people are laughing here, looking at me in the camera, that I hope someone is into me. I hope they know this is not what we are going to be doing. We are actually taking them deep. I mean, the rate at which the work will happen is the reason why some of you would leave, because you might not be able to cope. We would account for it. We are also trying to reduce the number as much as possible. So yes, I'm only saying it that caveat, your designs are not going to be this simple. Your tasks are not going to be this simple or straightforward. So brace up and get your hacks together. We're actually going to drill you. When I mean drill, we will drill you till at least we get maybe just 500 active students. The rest can go. So I'm just saying this, that we are not going to be doing something this simple. On your Photoshop, you apply effects. You would bring in external files. You bring in external assets. You lump things together. You arrange things and all. So please, I just quickly thought about that caveat as much as possible. So nobody gets carried away and says that, but when I started the class, I started with something really, really simple. Why is everything looking completely different now? Everything will look different when your tutor starts, because they are going to hone in on it, and also your group leaders and your instructors, which are on the Discord channel. So let's move. I'm going to be moving fast. They have been hinting at me that our time is fast spent, and I'm not meant to stay this long. This is just a general introductory class. So let me come here and say desktop. We have our desktop size we want to work with. This is where a whole lot of you have been waiting for. A lot of you have been waiting for this part, and this is where it gets interesting. So let's move on. The same files we used earlier, let's use them now. Please, can you switch to my video? I want to go into my files. Thank you. Time is fast spent. Time is fast spent. Yes, so I'm trying to bring our images in again. Yes, and I think yes, you can. Thank you so much. I'm trying to bring our images in again, and this time work with them. Now, don't worry. I'm saying don't worry because yes, you would have a lot of questions, especially if you are just starting out in UI UX. Please don't worry. Please don't worry. Just hang on with me, please. Layout. This part applies to everybody differently, but because of who I am, I like my margins to be 100, and my gutters are intact. I just like, it depends. It depends on what you are trying to achieve. Some people use 12, but I'll stick to 4. I'm saying I'll stick to 4 because I'm also going to be doing this iPhone. Okay. Okay, let me move on. So yes, so I would come here and say my grid also should be here. Column grid 2, margin 20. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because of responsiveness. This is our web view. This is our mobile view. Of course, what I'm doing here, like I said, I'm still barely scratching the surface. Web view, we have our asset. We have our one asset here. Web view, mobile view. The reason why this is important for us to quickly settle out is everything that is 2 here automatically sits on this, and then it becomes 1 here. You know, if this is 2 column, this is 2 column on the left and on the right. If you try and agree with what I'm saying, so if you come here, you actually just have how many now? 1. Or we have a pair. We have 2 pairs here. We have just a pair here. So the 2 pairs here now sits on themselves here. Now let me explain what I'm saying. So I just generally do this, especially except if the design is actually demanding more complex approach. Then I would use something else I will use something else for the design. So let me come here and do this. So we can adjust this, but this is still not our priority. Just drop this here. We said powering connection. That's what we said. And then we used Clash Grotesque. And we used it in semi-bold. Yes, we are also going to be learning type scaling. Don't worry. Everything I'm doing here, when you start to learn properly, will be entirely different. But for the sake of presentation, we will let this be. For the sake of presentation, we're going to let this be our focus. This. Opera. So this would be possibly, we said, if it's not counting good designers who want to know design fast, who really want to show that they understand design, the fonts they use is what? Is counting. If it comes out in your evaluation and we ask you that good designers use what kind of font, your answer should be Campton. If you don't know any answer, please put Campton. If you don't put Campton, you'll fail that test. I promise you. I'm not bluffing. Campton is your best font ever. Ever. You shouldn't even doubt me. Look at the font yourself. I don't know. Why should you doubt me? Just look at this. Now, let me move on. Today is not to convince you about the font you should use. Of course, that will not be fair. It's only right I tell you the right thing to do. Saying that I'm here for a while, it's only right that you know that I have high expectation on the kind of font you should use. So now that we have done this, we'll come here and I'm going to explain spacing. So just hang on with me. Powering connection. We are a transgenerational company leveraging on existing technologies, expert research, and insight. Let's just say professional insight. To provide cutting edge services to our customers. If you ask me what I'm writing, I promise you I don't know too. So you don't need to understand. Let's just flow. We are all in this together. I primarily have no idea what this organization is about, but let's just flow together. Customers. Possibly this could be. This cannot be semi-bold. It would be too much. Possibly light is still light. Let's say book is fine. Now look at this. Spacing matters now. This is where I come to spacing. This is where my discussion with spacing starts to come alive. Let's reduce this a bit. We are not done. This is just basic. So let's fine. This is good, but now we are now saying 20 times 1.5. Yes, this is better. And then find out how we do it. That's what we're asking you to do. Find out how we do it. Of course, a lot of the things you see here are not true. Find out what's going on. Find out more. Find out more, and okay, no, let me not do that other part. Let me just do this. Find out more, and then let's draw our frame. No, before we draw our frame, let's draw our circles. You could use, now I'll explain why circles. Blue, this should be blue. This, like I said, everything I'm doing here is at a very fast pace. Possibly when your class starts properly for each of these things, you'll be learning a different path entirely. Entirely. I shouldn't have done that. Sorry. I'm trying to bring it to the back, and possibly reduce the color intensity here. The intensity should be reduced. Let's see. Another way you can do that is just click on it and go. Sorry, arrange it back. I mean this. That's tending towards black. Let's tend towards a lighter version of white. Sorry, I just went in another direction entirely. I was thinking to go light. Let's see. Yeah, something like that. Let me take this out so I can see clearly what's going on. Okay, this should still go lighter. I'm trying to maintain only this color scheme here anyway, so this should still go lighter. And then I'm trying to show that it is meant to glow, so this can come back and become really light. Yes. Then generally reduce this too, so it is not overwhelming. Reduce this also. What height are we dealing with here? So yes, we have this done. Yes, and I would literally convert it to a frame because something is coming to sit inside. Find out more. There will be an arrow here, and this will be glowing. This will be glowing with an arrow beside it. So this should be clash, not medium. Yes, this should be clash. Yes, this we have this done. Yes, but we are not done. Like anything is hardly done. So this is where it becomes interesting. We have not done our nav by view, people. Remember, now I mentioned something. I said, let me just come to. Okay, so can you? Let me come to display straight. Let me come to my browser and open Remix icon. I want you to stick with me. I want to fetch icons. Of course, a lot of these icons are on your plugins, but I have a lot of things open. I don't want to go in that direction. So let me just open it down here. Why is my network slow? Please, why is my network slow? That's strange. Okay, so it's the remix that is having that problem. Let me just say hero icons then. So it's remix is having an issue. Okay, so let me open this up and say I need arrow, and just copy SVG, come back to my Figma file here, and then paste it in here and change the color to white, and there you have it. So very simple. This will be glowing and then asking you to come down. So yes, the next thing we are dealing with is can you all still see my screen? Yes, you can. The next thing we are dealing with Shift A is spacing. This is very, very important. Very, very important. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before, but I'm doing it now. This is what's the spacing here? This should be 16. I prefer spacings in multiple of 248. 248. But that is me. I will not force it on anybody. It's just easier to work with that spacing than Shift A. Then we are working with a space of 16 here. The layout has been added, and then between here and here we have 32. Shift A, and then between here and here we have 32 again. Shift A. So this is your spacing applied. So now that we have this, we say we are pouring connection. One of the things we can do is we have not added. If you are with me, we have not added our nav bar. So we could say about let me make this all caps lock, and this should be possibly 16. Let's see. About contact us. Okay. Let's say blog, and then we could say explore. Yes, explore could mean something else. Let's say, so let's just do all of this together. What is our logo going to look like? Do I really want to take time? Okay, I won't take time. I'm sorry. I could just come here and say let me just quickly do this. Very simple. 2 circles. I should not waste anybody's time. So let's say the name of our the only person we are competing with this logo is MasterCard. So I think I'm good to go. Let's say this color, and then purple. Where is so we'd say powering connection electro. Let's say electro. Let me clear that quickly. We don't want that again. We say electro VR. Let me do this. This should be Clash Grotesque. This should be, let's say, 24. Just a bit. Take this together and frame it. Take this together and spacing move by 248. When we go fully into the class, there are some things I'm doing here now that will take a different approach entirely, very different approach entirely. So yes, please just bear with me. Literally just bear with me. There are some things we are doing now that will be done in a very different manner when we start properly. What's the space here? Okay, so let me take this together. This is the spacing here should be at least let's say 64. Okay, this is good. And let's quickly add one more. Say home. Okay, this is good. And the next thing we're adding here is, okay, if you say explore, what do you mean? Let me not go in that direction. This will be enough. I don't want to take too much time already. I'm already doing that. Shift A, and then it should be space between, align it to the center. So, sorry. What fonts do you use here? We're meant to use Clash Grotesque here to not counting. Okay, so let's check our yes, I would. For the spacing, I got the spacing question. I would answer this question when we come into this subject differently. Like, I'm saying this because of your developers. I'm literally saying this because of your developers. When we come to these sections differently, we are going to talk about it because we are going to be having live projects. We are going to all work on a project that is going to be developed. So you get to see what it means moving from just design to actual development. I hope you get that part. You all get to see what it means. So please bear with me. Yes, I'm going to come back and explain all of that from ground up. So another thing we can do here, this place is still looking scanty to me. Sorry, my designer mind is feeling fairly offended that this cannot be this scanty. So I would come here, let me just take this part out and put some stuff here. Now, because this is a class, I actually wanted to, no, let me quickly take that time. I'm sorry guys. Let me just quickly take that extra time and do some stuff here. I just want to know that things can go take other direction, and that's the other direction I want to quickly do. I'm not done with the first one either anyway. So just give me a minute. Can someone? Let me see. Can we do this? Our text is not long. Yes. Let me see. How much of this? Sorry. How much of this can we survive? Might just have to make it long. Let's see, and possibly reduce the font size to 64. 64 is too small. 72. I'm trying not to take too much time because everybody has been hiring me over there that this thing is taking longer than I'm supposed to. This class should have ended. Literally should have ended. And my apologies are in order. They are literally in order. So let's say fill. We want it to be linear from this part Okay, no, we should have switched this should be a bit more fairly transparent, and then this should be fully I'm coming, please. Let me just okay, yes, I'm coming. We are about to come to the end. Okay, I might not do that. I might not do that effect. I'm already out of time, so let me just leave this on. We're already out of time, I'm sorry. Let me just leave this here, and let me see how I can. Let me make it all long. So from here, I'll just adjust it to fit. So let's start with our spacing all over again. This should be 16 while it is centered. This should be 24. Thank you so much. And this 16 also centered. So we are not done. We are literally not done. This is just basic approach. So we now start to add life to it. This is how we start to add life to it. There are many patterns you can just ensure you are still within your grid anyway. There are many patterns you can apply if you want to. But I'll just do this now. This is where you start to add life to your designs. So let's go. This is, we don't want the fill, we just want the stroke. And then Command C, Command V, take it up again. Command C, Command V, take it up one notch. This is good. Then the stroke should be linear, and here, no, this place should be tending towards an empty design. This should come forward. Okay. We could go more complex than this. But we're actually slowing down. I'm slowing down because, like I said, this design should cater for people who are actually absolute beginners. We must not so much forget that we have people in our midst who are actually just starting out in design. And there is therefore every need for us to be considerate, very considerate of them, of those kind of persons. So would reduce this also, scale it down, bring it to the edge, scale it to this direction, take this, scale it again. This is good. Yes, there are other styles you can apply. You might not just end here. You could literally go on to doing this. That's why I say it depends on whom is doing this. It literally depends at the end of the day on who is doing this. So you might not necessarily want to use this color, or you may, and I'm rounding off now, or you may, and this should be layer blur. Let's say 200. That's too much. It's 70. The color should be bright. The color should be bright. This can be orange. Just ensure that whatever color you're using, it is bright. Now, of course, this is not, let me just say this for those who are starting out, this is not a rule, this is not a law. This is just you adding visual delight. All of these are just visual delights to your design. And a bit of color you are bringing like a color balance to your design, so it's not all just except if your design specifically states that you should just stick to a particular color system, then it's fine. Other than that, you should try and blend other colors with your color system so your design gets this. I don't know if it is coming out on your screen the way it is coming out on my screen, and I actually hope it is coming out the same way. Let's say this, let's take it to 100. So because we just want it subtle, we don't want it too in the face. We don't want it too in the face. So let's move on. And the same thing can be done here. We want this here too. So yes, if you check, these two designs are on white, which is intentional. I didn't do it on a gradient background. I could have, but it's not on a gradient background. Gradient seems like an easy hack these days. Just put a gradient and you'll be fine. But yes, I don't want to go in that direction just yet, because I use the gradient background on the poster design. I just wanted to say that you don't have to be bound by one thing. You can have multiple directions that you are working with or that you are moving with. Anyway, so we are nearly done. Let's place our circles here. What are we connecting? That's what we are trying to say now. What's our connection about? Let me use frame, please. So things will sit inside freely. Fill. Let me just do this, yes. And make it rounded. Let's say 100. So what are we powering? So this is where we would just go to our, let me just quickly fetch all the stuff we'll be needing. Let me say, do we have shop here? Yeah, we are powering sales, copy. We are powering sales, we are powering security. So just come here and paste it. Oh, sorry, did I copy that stuff? So let's say we are powering security. Let me choose the field version. Or yeah, let me try this. Let me take the field version. We are powering security. Yes, don't disregard my ideas. These are just top of the head ideas, please. 24. Sit perfectly, please. Thank you. We are powering sales, shop. We are powering, yes. I'm trying to beat time, sorry. That's why it seems as though I'm in a hurry. We are powering, and then what else are we powering? Maybe let's search for business. So here is where it gets interesting. I've not done the mobile, but our time is fast spent. Like, I've taken too much time. Let me just change the color here to white. Like, I've taken so much time than I planned. This is 24. Okay, this is 24. Okay, so this is what will go on now. Let's just take this color, then take this, reduce the color. Yeah. Take this color. Reduce the color. So take this. I'm sorry it may be rough and might not be properly done. Possibly the people who teach you these things would take time to ensure that things come out. They do a proper planning. This is not that I didn't plan properly. Nobody should go to me. It's that I'm trying to ensure. So I could go further in any direction here, but let me just peg it here. I could literally go further here, but let me peg it here. And what else are we powering? Lastly, I promise you, lastly, office. Okay, now that I've done that, we have done everything that we are powering. If you don't like black, another thing you can do, which, hey, I'm literally starting to debate, which you can actually make, instead of that making black, you can actually make it the color of your darkest shade, which is this almost navy blue. I think that's the name I have for it, almost navy blue color. You can make it that instead, and then this is it. You can just take all of this, copy, replace it here, copy, replace it here, copy, replace it here, and then copy, just paste, find somewhere fine to put it. Oh sorry, where did you paste it to? Let me just do this, and then we're good. So yeah, you could do all of this and then we're fine. Let me bring this to the top. This is meant to sit at the top. Sorry, please just bear with me. I'm seeing something I'm not meant to see here. In fact, everything here is just meant to come to the front. Let me just take that out and bring it to the top here. Thank you. Yeah, so this is it. Now okay, let me not go further than this. Please. This is just above the fold that we have done. We literally can't go further than this. I literally want to go further than this, but yes, time. My time is fast spent. Our time is fast spent. It will not be wise to do that. So let's just do this straight. We have spent so much time. Let me just come and take this here. What do we need to take here? We need to take hamburger. Just copy it and come to your Figma. Take everything here, paste to replace it, drag it back. Bring it here. Yes, now because this is not a proper UI class, there are a lot of things I've skipped, a lot of things I ordinarily should not skip that I've skipped. I just let it be that when you actually come to the UI class, there are some things you shouldn't do. There are some things I've done here that you shouldn't do or that you would not do. Everything should sit inside column here. That you would not do, you shouldn't do that as a designer. You shouldn't actually. So yes, let me quickly do this. I want this to sit inside a frame. Okay. Okay, that's good. The frame should be filled just a bit, and then this should adjust accordingly. Okay, why is that happening? Please just give me a minute. Let me check what is missing, if anything is missing. Let me just do this quickly. Remove the auto layout and then quickly turn it to a group. Okay, we are good. Shift A in the middle, and then thank you. Okay, yeah, so we we have that done already. So let's just, anyone you desire. I think I primarily like this. It might seem like a bias, but I think I like this. Let's just move this here. Yes, this cannot be this big, so this has to come down to say 40, and then this can be sitting on itself. This can reduce to this should come down to 16 is fine. 18. Still reduce it, and bring it to the midpoint. Our final more should be, let's say 18 is a good size. This should come down. 46 is good, yes. Centered. And then take this. Let me just take this first. I will come back and take the rest one by one. Okay, so yes, this can come up, or in yes, so okay, not entirely satisfied, but I won't go beyond this. This is I shouldn't go beyond this. This is enough. This is enough for my part, and anything beyond this not be fair to anybody, both my team members and to you. So yes, this is a very quick attempt at trying to do something, trying to ensure that we are able to bring an idea from possibly Illustrator to Photoshop and then to Figma. Oh, this is not meant to sit on top. This is not meant to sit on top. Yes. Yes. So yeah, we have this done. Yes, and this and this. So yes, I want to thank everybody who has stayed up until this point. I'm very grateful for you. Thank you for being here. It's a long 2 hours. I actually would have intended to do more than this, but I'm sorry I can't go beyond this. This is, and I'm quite sincere here. Let me keep mentioning this caveat. I am literally just doing the, okay, yes, I'm literally just doing the surface. Like this is just surface, like barely surface, like super surface of everything we're meant to do in class. So yes, I want you to brace up, and we'll see you next week. By then your dashboard should be ready. Thank you all very much. I'm sorry this is all in a hurry. It will be a bit more structured next week because your teachers are going to be on board, taking you deep. Thank you once again. I hope nobody is scared. If you do not remember anything, remember I said good designers use their mouse, good designers use Campton, and design, now that's a joke. Design never exists in isolation. You are building on existing designs, or you are building on existing objects, or existing shapes, down from illustrations to Photoshop to Figma. I hope I've been able to prove to you that designs are layered on each other. And when I mean layered on the understanding of each other. When I mean understanding, you are looking at image, you are looking at typography, you are looking at composition and layout, you are looking at patterns. We'll be doing all of this properly starting next week. Stay tuned and welcome once again. The video is going to be available after this. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Peace, I guess.